episode of the Enoch Generation, a generation that walks with God. So we had RINITA GRACE with us in the last 2 episodes, sharing her journey as a child, as a teenager, and then her life in Kuwait. And now she's back with us in the studios today to share her life, her walk with God when she was back from Kuwait into Chennai, India. Welcome, RINITA. So you can take off from where you left us last episode.
Thank you, Akka. Back to Chennai, actually, I should say.
Yeah.
Because
so the entire family
yes,
shifted from Kuwait to
between.
Chennai.
Only thing was we were just looking for a school for my daughters, where it was in the middle of the year, so only one school accepted the children as they were and as the same classes. I didn't want them to miss any classes. So when they moved in, that school was amazing. And they were having worship in the morning prayer and all that. So they got adapted so easily with the school, and the teachers were so kind. And how God prepared the way before He could bring us. We saw that so beautifully in the children's lives. So we moved here. We stayed with my in-laws only, and we renovated the house. We made it comfortable for the entire family to stay. And the children started schooling, and I started helping out in the church activities. So, that it was going smoothly. And my husband wanted to try his luck in business, and so he started working on his work and everything. In between, I used to get stomach pain. So it was a common stomach pain. So I thought it is just a common stomach pain. But then it was coming every month. And every month I used to go to the doctor, take an antibiotic, and it will subside, and I will be on bland diet so that I don't get this spike of stomach pain again. Once I thought, what is this? Every month I'm going in, and every month invariably I'm taking antibiotics. So I should find out what is the reason for the stomach pain. And so I went to the doctor and we asked for a scan. So when we went for a scan, the scan said it's a whole mass, so we are not able to see any of your, the vital organs. So go for a CT scan. So it went for a CT scan. The CT scan said it's a big mass around, and it is just clearly speaking about the area of mass, and it says it could be TB or lymphoma. I was totally unaware of what lymphoma was. And I didn't care to, Google it. And it is not TB means what is lymphoma. I was least bothered of what was happening around me. I said, God is in control. And I had to go for further tests. I went to CMC for further tests and everything. And they said, you have to take a biopsy. I said, fine. I was directed to go to the hematology department. Even then, I didn't think, why a hematology department? I didn't bother. And then they said they have to do a biopsy. I said, you do whatever you want to do with my body as long as I don't have the stomach pain. So I was asked to lie on my belly. The belly pain was more than the biopsy pain. So I didn't bother that much of that also. And when the biopsy results were about to come, everyone was asking me, what happened? And I was said, whatever it is, God is going to heal me. Why are you so bothered about, asking what the result was? So then I had to find out what that lymphoma was. I called my cousin and I asked, what is lymphoma? And she said, she's a doctor. She said, it's blood cancer. I said, what? Blood cancer? Do you say I have blood cancer? Because they said it's positive. Then she said, yes, Rini, it is blood cancer.
Oh my God.
Then is the time I awakened, and I opened my mobile and I started Googling it and I searched for everything, and they said it's blood cancer positive. I told my husband, darling, it is blood cancer it seems. He said, hey, don't be kidding. And I said, no, it is blood cancer. And I showed him everything and what I had Googled. And then I said, I have nothing to worry about, because if God has brought me thus far, He knows how to take me out of it. He has plans to prosper me, not to harm me. So I know He has big plans for us. I'm sure this is not the end, so you don't worry. I'm just wondering what the children will do when I have to take treatment. This was was my only
God,
concern.
so your faith was so solid, you
You
were
will
on the
not
rock
believe.
that you weren't moved.
This is how I faced it, literally. And
Because I think anybody else in your position would have been devastated with the very thought that
they said,
they
it's
had.
blood cancer. And I said, if the God has given me, He knows how to take me out of it. So you don't have to worry about it. This is what I told my husband. And then we went and informed our in-laws, parents-in-law. And they did not answer. They were speechless. They could not say anything. They could not do anything. They were just looking. And I kept on telling, Auntie, don't worry. I was telling my mother-in-law, don't worry. I will go for the treatment and I'll come back. Anyone who comes to see me, this is what I said. Don't worry, I'll be all right. Don't
You
worry.
literally remind me about Abraham in the Bible when he said, I will go, we will go. Like he was asked to give Isaac as a sacrifice on the mountain, but he said, we will go and we will come back. So it sounds
It
like
is
this.
actually the grace of God, I'm telling you. See, all those 40 years, I was 41 then, and all those 40 years, how God had brought me with the word, with everything, was for such a time as this, Really. It was for such a time as this where I can just strongly stand up and say, if God brought me to it, He will take me through it. I don't have anything to worry. And so I said, and you will not believe how God ordained everything. Previously we were talking, the steps of a righteous man is ordained by God. He brought my sister-in-law from Kuwait on a vacation. So she was here to take care of my daughters for 2 months. And so she took complete care of them. And I did not have anything to worry about. For them, it is their atte. They were very happy to be with their atte. And I went to CMC. My mother was there with me 24/7. My husband was there with me. And anytime the doctors will come and check, I will say, hi doctor, how are you doctor? With a gleam on my face. That is how I faced it.
Wow,
And
it's awesome.
It is.
I think this is a mighty testimony because when you really walk with God and when you're so sure it is God who's ordaining your steps, whatever may happen
Yes.
around you, you will really not
Yes.
worry about it. Because of course cancer doesn't come from the Lord.
Yes,
the Lord doesn't give
definitely.
us cancer.
Definitely.
But when the devil tries to come and steal your joy,
Yes.
steal your hope, steal your faith, I really admire the way you clung on to God and you didn't give up on your faith or your hope, because I think you literally knew who
Yes.
the God you served was.
It is the Lord. It
Yes.
is God's grace which brought me like that.
Praise God.
At that time, I can't say that.
So whatever
with
the
my
devil
own-
meant for harm, God could simply change it to good. The test became a testimony.
He just gave me the grace to stand up and say, no, God will take care of it. No, God will take care of it. And the entire family, as I told you, my parents and everyone, they will always be surrounding me with prayer for anything. Before one test, they'll pray. They had to do a PET scan towards the end to find out my stages, on which stage I was, how intense the cancer was. They thought I will be in the first stage or second stage because I was so bouncy and so gleaming around with joy. So they thought I will be only in the early grade, but then it was stage 3B. And they said, I don't know how she's going to go through the first chemo. But then I kept on telling the doctor, no doctor, you do what you have to do. God will take care of me. You do what you have to do. God will take care of me. They gave me the highest intensity of chemo they can have. It was a double hit lymphoma, and one strand was 89% active, one strand was 93% active. And they said, we don't know how you're going to go through. They had their fingers crossed. They didn't know what was next. But then they just started the medication. And the medication was very extreme. I had all the side effects. I would just keep quiet. And I remember every verse God spoke to me and how God encouraged me. Full body will be in pain, and they will give me fentanyl to relieve the pain. I had the port put here, and there will be 5 medications going on. The chemo, the IV, the food also, because I was throwing up everything. So they had given me a lot of medications, and fentanyl also was given. And fentanyl, they reduced the the dosage. From 2.5 mg, they brought it to 1 mg. And I said, if you reduce it, how will I bear the pain? Already my body is paining. And I was fighting with the nurses there. I said, why did you reduce? And I complained against this to the doctor also. Then I was lying down in my bed. One night I did not sleep at all because of the pain. And then God is telling me, He's speaking to me in very small, still voice. Some may trust in horses. Some may trust in chariots. Some may trust in the drugs. And then I had to continue and say,
I trust in you, Lord.
But I trust in you, O Lord. But then, God said, don't put your trust in these drugs. Don't put your trust in these medications or the doctors. Trust in the name of the Lord. Then all those verses, the name of the Lord is a strong tower. Everything comes up alive for me. And then I said, okay, the Lord is there for me. Never mind whatever dosage they give. You are my strength, O Lord. You are my refuge. You are my rock. You are my salvation. I don't have to be moved.
It's so nice to sit here and listen to your story of the past years, but I know it would have been traumatic at that particular point of time if I had been there to listen to what you were saying. But how long were you on medication?
I was on medication for 4 full months.
Okay.
It was 4 cycles of chemo.
Okay.
But then all of them were very high, so it drained me completely. I lost my hair totally. In my college I was known for my hair, but then everything went off. That was another thing God taught me. Don't take anything for granted. Even the hair that is on me, it is given by God. So honor your father with everything. And I used to cut it, flip it, do whatever I wanted. But then it is God-given hair. That was something that dawned on me. And I went through even though I walk through the valley of shadow of death, I will fear no evil because the Lord is with me. That was something which I could go through and say.
So you really walked through that
Exactly.
shadow of the valley of death, and if you could still say that you would fear no evil,
That is the grace of
faith.
God. That is the grace of God
Yes.
which gives me that faith. Because He says, my grace is sufficient for thee. That is another thing. They gave me this bone marrow. They had to do the bone marrow test. And they were drilling into my bone. And I was really chubby and plump. Drilling. They could not do anything. They could not get the bone marrow out. And they were going on drilling. And I'm weeping over there. Tears were rolling as I'm lying down. And I said, Lord, how long? I just said, Lord, how long? Immediately I could see the face of my father. I could see Jesus'
Oh my God.
face full of thorns and bleeding. When you see that face, this pain doesn't matter at all. Oh Lord, you took so much of pain just to save me. And that minute, again Lord said, my grace is sufficient for thee. He engulfed me with His grace, and that grace was enough for me to go through the entire process. I had people praying for me everywhere, in Kuwait, in States, back from Singapore. So many people kept calling me in prayer. So many people kept on encouraging me. And now I know I'm an encouragement to so many people. Many say, when I see you, I get encouraged because they know I've gone through a lot and I've come.
So it took you about 4 months for the entire treatment.
Yes.
And how long did it take for you to recoup and get back
I'm
to your
still
feet?
getting back
Okay.
because it's a big process, and there are
How
times.
many years is it now?
Now it's 5 years full.
Okay.
5 years without relapse, without going back, it's a miracle. Because the doctors, when I crossed the 5-year mark, they said you have crossed the milestone, so you can really enjoy your life because you don't have anything to worry about.
Because you have nothing to do with cancer. Cancer is cancelled. in Jesus' name.
Exactly. I have nothing to worry because Jesus is with me. But then I can testify and say, I am nothing but Christ.
He's everything.
He is everything. Every cell in my body can testify and say that Jesus is alive.
That's a wonderful
Amen.
testimony. So I think viewers, you've been listening to her and her walk with the Lord and her time in India, and it's so awesome to see the way God has been leading her, because she was walking like an Enoch with God. So no matter whatever she went through in life, especially the most difficult phase of having to battle with the third stage B cancer, yet since she already had a life that was with Christ, ordained to walk with Christ, she could go through it all. And today she stands as a testimony, a great witness, that whatever the devil meant for harm, God was able to change it for good. So when you and I walk with God, nothing is impossible, because we have a God who makes the impossible possible. God bless you all.